If your YouTube channel is getting no views, there are probably only a few things actually causing it. Not 50, not 100, just a handful. And the dangerous part is, most small creators spend all their time fixing the wrong things. Over the past few weeks, I've been researching hundreds of YouTube videos, breaking down what actually makes channels grow, looking at patterns, data, and real examples. And now I'm applying everything in real time. This is day 8 of my YouTube journey. And today, I want to break down the 6 things I'd focus on first if I had a channel getting no views. Because this changed the way I think about YouTube. A lot of people believe success on YouTube is about time, or effort, or luck, or having better gear. But the more I study this, the more I think it's really about where you place your attention. Because not every task matters equally. Some things barely move the needle, and a few things change everything. I'm Atlas, your host from Make Money AI. And in this video, I'm going to show you the 6 areas that seem to matter most, so you can stop wasting time on low-impact work. Let's get into today's most valuable insights. The first one is going to sound simple, but it explains why a lot of channels never even get a real chance. You're probably not giving yourself enough shots on goal. And once I understood that, a lot started to make sense. Because YouTube growth usually doesn't happen in a straight line. It happens in bursts. Which means if you barely post, you barely give yourself a chance to hit. Here's the idea. Quality matters. But quality usually comes from quantity first. Think about it like basketball. If one person spends months trying to take one perfect shot, and another person takes 500 real shots, who's probably better by the end? The second person. Not because they cared less about quality, but because repetition created quality. That's how YouTube feels to me. The more videos you make, the more you practice titles, thumbnails, editing, storytelling, delivery, everything. And more importantly, the more opportunities you create for one video to actually connect. That's why the first fix is simple. Post more often than you think you need to. Not spam, not junk, but enough to build skill and enough to build momentum. Because if you post once a month, you barely get any real swings. But if you post once or twice a week, suddenly you're learning faster and giving yourself way more chances to be discovered. And that leads to the second fix, which I think most beginners overlook completely. You need a reason for people to choose you. Not just your topic, you. This is where your X factors come in. Your tone, your point of view, your humor, your background, your way of explaining things. The little things that make someone think, I could watch 10 channels about this, but I like this one. For me, that's a huge lesson. Because in this niche, a lot of people talk about YouTube growth. A lot of people talk about making money online. A lot of people talk about AI. So the real question becomes, why would someone come back to me? That's why your channel needs a personality, not just information. And there's a third fix that makes this even more powerful. Because even if you post more, and even if you have something unique, you can still confuse YouTube if your channel feels all over the place. The third fix is consistency. But not in the usual way people talk about it. I don't just mean posting on schedule. I mean being consistent in what your channel actually is. Your topic, your tone, your promise, your style. Because if one video feels like a serious business lesson, the next feels like a random vlog, and the next feels like a gaming upload, YouTube struggles to understand who your content is for. And if YouTube can't understand your audience, it can't recommend you properly. A good question to ask is this: would the person who clicks this video also want to watch my last 5 videos? If the answer is no, your channel might be too scattered. Now here's the fourth fix. And this one is massive. Your content has to be good enough to keep people watching. Because getting a click is only step 1. Holding attention is what proves the click was worth it. So when I think about better content, I simplify it into 3 things. First, is it stimulating enough? Does it actually keep the viewer mentally engaged? Second, does it have friction? Awkward moments, slow sections, confusing tangents, anything that makes people want to leave. And third, is it satisfying? Does the viewer feel glad they watched? Or do they feel tricked, bored, or underwhelmed? That's a big one. Because even if a video gets clicks, if it disappoints people, that hurts you over time. Quick pause here. If you're following this journey because you want to build your own channel smarter, subscribe and follow along. I'm testing all of this in real time and sharing what I learn day by day. Now, the fifth fix is the one almost everyone has heard before, but I think most people still underestimate it. Your packaging matters more than you think. And by packaging, I mean your title and thumbnail. Because if nobody clicks, nothing else gets a chance to work. Your title and thumbnail are not separate. They're a team. And that's where a lot of creators go wrong. They repeat the same thing in both. Or they make a thumbnail that looks nice, but doesn't actually create curiosity. The goal is simple. Your thumbnail should make someone stop, and your title should make the stop turn into a click. That's the job. And beneath that, there's one more layer that matters even more: the psychology. What is the tension? What is the curiosity? What is the reason someone needs to know what happens next? Because the sixth and biggest fix of all is this: your idea has to be strong. You can package a weak idea well, but you can't build a channel on weak ideas. That's like polishing something boring and hoping it becomes exciting. It won't. The topic has to matter. The angle has to feel fresh. The timing has to make sense. And the demand has to be there. That's why I'm starting to think the real YouTube game is this: make more videos. Develop real X factors. Stay consistent enough for YouTube to understand you. Make content that retains attention. Package it so people actually click. And above all, choose stronger ideas. Those 6 things seem to carry almost everything. And honestly, that's encouraging. Because it means growth isn't random. It means there are levers you can actually improve. So that's what I'm focusing on now. Not doing everything. Doing the things that matter most. And I'm going to keep documenting all of it. Tomorrow is day 9. And I'll share exactly what I'm learning next. So if you want to follow the journey in real time, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.